AI in Action is brought to you by Alldus International, covering your business's staffing, consulting, and networking needs. Our host brings you the leading minds in AI, sharing their story, their success, and their advice. Focusing on fast-tracking you to the top, AI in Action cuts through the hype to help you kickstart your data science career. To listen to the latest AI in Action podcast, head over to www.alldus.com/podcast or subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Podcasts.
Welcome to the Alldus podcast. As part of our AI in Action series, in today's guest, we have Michael Koch. Michael is the Director of Data Analytics and AI at Lufthansa Industry Solutions. Michael, great to have you on the show today.
Thanks.
Michael, tell us a little bit about your background and how did you get into the world about data and AI? And tell us, I suppose, from your educational point of view as well, and for the listeners that don't know your background, it'd be great to hear about that.
Actually, I did my master's in computer science in the city of Kaiserslautern. It's a small town in Western Germany, and focused there on database and distributed systems. So you see, I always had this really data-driven background and the passion for data, even in the beginning of my studies. And I wanted to work in this area and really started this directly on an international level. So I started working in Toronto, in the field of enterprise data warehousing and business intelligence systems. So it was really about the data of the company in a central place and how to use them really to derive decisions from it. I did this in quite a couple of different situations and customers. Set in Canada at first, also a project in Bangalore, also in Berlin, in Frankfurt, at the end. So I have a lot of different situations where I worked in there. And the point is that I'm really fascinated by complex connected systems. And the central data warehouse especially is a point where it's not so much about technology, but also about processes, people, culture, and politics. And that's fascinating for me, because the point is that a lot of different departments are using this data, and it's often more challenging to really bring these people together and focus on a business benefit and understand actually what the data is saying, than really building it on a technology level. That was a long time my focus, but then also in Lufthansa, it was interesting because we don't only want to look into the past and into the collection of data, but we try, of course, to forecast the future. So, for example, for airplanes, of course, how to ride on volume in the future? What's about arrival times? What's about the prices on the market and so on? There's a lot of different really forecasting systems that are really important and really interesting. And for me, artificial intelligence is another level on top of that, of course, because with that I can support human interaction on another level, computer vision, natural language processing for the automation of repetitive tasks, or I can even build new products. So it's quite a journey from the start, focusing on the data technology, but in the last couple of years I built really a lot of different analytic systems and also AI applications. And I really like this complex systems and like this opportunity to really build something completely new.
That's great, Michael. And what we were talking about before we were on air was the different cultures you've experienced by working in different locations like Bangalore, Toronto, and different parts of Germany, which is really stands to you. Tell us a little bit about how you build new AI services at Lufthansa.
Actually, my team has a lot of different cultures involved already. And we're trying to really use this knowledge to really build new innovative products. And how we do that actually with customers is that we start with an ideation phase. We have so many different examples where AI and analytics applications can be used that we try to show that to customer or to the business department. And then we can focus on, okay, what can you do with this new innovative product, and try to test it with, for example, a proof of concept. And because it's always important, of course, there's new ideas coming out of that, and you can do a lot of different new stuff. But in the end, it's important that it works with the data you have, and that the data quality is correct, that you really can have a good probability or accuracy for the models you build. And it's really most important. And you can do that usually in really a couple of weeks where you find out about that. And after that, only after that, you try to use really the first minimal product for example, 50 users or the first users to really have a business benefit out of it. And then you try to build an enterprise-ready product where you, for example, focus on security, also more on data privacy, on maintainability. Though there's really technical perspectives, usually new people that are involved in this topic don't think about. And we have operated AI applications for quite some time, for a couple of years, and try to reuse this information really and to build the solutions again and again. So it's really quite a journey, but I think we have standardized it in some way and really try to help here from ideation until to reusable service that we directly can use for the next problem again.
And tell us about the breakdown of your team. What does your team look like, and how do you go about managing it? Because there isn't a set way or standard way that is easily acknowledged as the best way to manage a data science team, where you've got so many different ways to manage software engineering teams. Now, there will be some people that will be very strongly opinionated on how to do it, but I think the jury's out on that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, let's say we have some pillars there. We have actually 2 to 3 roles where we tried to put together a team out of. But the most important thing is that really these people have passion for data. Yeah, they want to do it, and they have own innovative ideas as well to bring with them. That's most of the things we rely on actually. But on the other side, the first role is the data scientist, of course, which has more the mathematical background and focus on really data exploration itself. And there we have quite actually a lot of different backgrounds. Let's say it's from mathematics, from physics, neurobiology, chemistry, and it's really a lot of different aspects, contexts. But they all work together and are able usually to also build a first prototype with technologies like Python and Docker or cloud technologies, for example. So that's already really somebody we rely on. But on the other side, of course, there's a data engineer, which comes more from the computer science direction and knows how to manage data, to model it, and knows how to do performance tuning on databases. So these two guys work really together to produce productive solutions, for example. And then again, we have also an AI engineer who is doing like more machine learning operations, MLOps, knows more about cloud libraries and AI libraries that are from different vendors and how to mix them up and how to configure them, how to deploy and operate AI. So it's another skill. So there's a lot of hard skills involved there, but most important is really the practical experience in this background there as well.
You're listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, if you're interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com. So, Michael, depending on who you talk to, I think Gartner give the stat that 84% of projects don't make it into production within data science. Some say it's higher, some say it's lower, or a lot of the reasons why that they won't make it into production is the problems that they're solving aren't impactful enough. What are your thoughts on applying AI within companies and the reality of overachieving on the hype cycle that's out there?
Yeah, I think that actually the question is a little bit misleading there on the side, because yes, we have a lot of new algorithms and technologies out there, and there's coming up, like every once in a week is another algorithm that promises new possibilities and new products that can be used. But actually, what the problems we have are mostly in the beginning. They are not about the technology itself, but they are really about trying new stuff and being agile on the side. Because with analytics and AI applications, you rely first of all on data. And on the other side, you need to work with the data to find out what you can do with it. And there's also, let's say, a point in the German culture that we want always to know in the beginning of a project what's the goal and what's the outcome out of it. And that's a little bit of preventing us to innovate here in this regard, because we need to be allowed to fail and test stuff on the data. And we need also to reset the goal or readjust it to really the business benefit we have here. And that's a lot of cases where projects fail because they are not flexible enough to adapt to these goals. And of course, we are using the newest algorithms and libraries, and we are quite used to that and actually are quite successful. And we can predict, for example, the weight and volume on the airplanes in advance. You can detect anomalies from audio and vibration data to recognize also machine faults. We can also reply to standard emails, for example, with modern natural language processing. But we need also to see that these possibilities are there in a positive way. And a lot of cases we stumble over, then there is, for example, somebody saying that GDPR or the data privacy is preventing from doing so. Also, there's a little bit in the culture that they think evil about the AI itself from movies, for example. And as I told in the beginning, we are not allowed when working with the data to fail, or we're not allowed to adapt and work with probabilities. And I think this culture thing and these methodologies needs to change, or is more difficult to change actually than the actually problem to achieve the hype cycle or to really use the technologies.
Michael, thank you for your thoughts there. So when you look at companies and they're trying to get the most from these projects and you're helping them utilize the different tools and getting their data fit for purpose and being careful about the goals and objectives or outcomes they have, what advice would you share to overcoming the challenges that are in the market with AI at the moment? And maybe start off answering that question, what are the challenges you see?
Lufthansa Industry Solutions itself, has made a lot of this experience in the last couple of years. And I mean, we're working for Lufthansa itself, but also for other companies there. And what we see that nearly every company tries to approach AI analytic systems at the moment. And they try to build up analytics platforms, try to hire the teams and try really to get benefit out of it. But I think that the point is that there's need for a lot of experts, and the market just has not as many perspectives there to really serve the need. Also because it's really a broad and complex topic with a lot of different technology aspects, and also required skills for the data scientist, for the data engineer, so that we should focus more on really the current problems and benefits AI can deliver, and try to really build AI as a service, for example, and really offer that to companies to reuse and focus on their problem and benefit itself, not on the technology, on the skill set there. Because there's nearly in every process or in every department you can use these solutions, and we should not build them all the time from scratch. That's just not possible. And it's also on the other side that it's important to think about complex topics like operations, security, data privacy, and even AI ethics, which are seldomly addressed from the start. And it's getting more and more important that, for example, our AI solutions don't discriminate, for example. Europe is actually doing quite a lot in this sector, as you know, for data privacy and starting for ethics as well in this area. And I think we should push this topic really, really more and should focus on that as well and see it as a chance to build really good systems.
I think it's such a good point, because when you have it as the foundation, you don't have to worry about it coming up later on, because you've designed this being very conscious of it. And you find from companies that haven't done well in this process in the past, they think about it near the end. And
exactly.
that's not going to work. And I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with the GDPR regulation, further extended with the EU regulation on AI, high-risk AI, in the coming weeks, in terms of what they're going to propose to actually bring into law. And that's 450 million people that if you're going to be selling or applying any type of AI within the healthcare sector or financial services, for example, you're going to have to abide by that regulation. So it's going to start to be really enforced soon, which is going to be good to see. Michael, looking back at your earlier years in the world of data analytics and data science / AI, what advice would you share with anyone beginning this journey again?
The most challenging and also most important experience I made were the travel and the work abroad. As I said, like, and there are contact with different cultures, and I think I should have been doing this stuff like more early. I think you learn quite a lot of that. Of course, it's important to have hard skills and do your studies and have this background, this theory. But in the end, what's really most important is to have a big range of experiences in different areas. Germany actually offers in universities a lot of different perspectives. Of course, computer science on the other one side, there's economics, but there's also topics like politics, philosophy, for example, or even like projects in the industry. Yeah? So it's really important to look in other directions and see the big picture, try stuff out, and in the end also find out where your passion lies and rely on that. So it's not about the study itself, it's really about the practical experience in the real life and making most out of it and a broad range out of it.
I've been speaking to Michael Koch. Michael is the Director of Data Analytics and AI at Lufthansa Industry Solutions. And you've been listening to the Alldus podcast as part of our AI in Action series. And today, Michael's been giving us an overview about his background, the work he's doing at Lufthansa, how they manage the data science team there, the challenges within AI, and how to have successful implementations of projects, managing different customers' expectations and helping them on the journey to overcoming those challenges. And we also talked a little bit about how you can actually apply some winning solutions to them as well. Michael, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
AI in Action is brought to you by Alldus International, covering your business's staffing, consulting, and networking needs. Alldus offer an exec search program. Alldus can help you discover how data science and AI can transform your company. With our unrivaled network of C-suite executives and senior AI professionals, we offer retained search services across the US and Europe. Get the Alldus advantage. Become a member of the Alldus community and enjoy some of the following: AI meetups. Once a month, our community gathers to listen to some of the leading experts in the world of data science and AI. Our speakers come from all over the world, including Dublin, Boston, and Frankfurt. We also have our AI mentors. Our experts will provide mentoring to Alldus members. And don't forget our AI in Action podcast. Each week we have guests from all over the world talking us through their education, career, and more. Become an Alldus member and get the Alldus advantage. For more information and to sign up for our newsletter, log on to www.alldus.com. That's www.alldus.com. Alldus International, empowering through AI.